So a good week this week with our staff problems starting to sort themselves out. We hired a driver. It was one of the ones that I saw last week, and it was actually one of the guys that I suggested the business owner give a call. So he looks really promising. He started today. It was his first day, so we'll see how he goes, but so far so good, and everyone seems fairly impressed with his attitude and thinks he's got potential, which is great because that then lightens the load on the rest of the team, which also allowed me to finally catch up with our general manager and go over some of the things that I've been wanting to catch up with him for quite a few weeks. So he and we went over the driver's role description because the HR function is pretty much his baby. That's the area that he's been given responsibility for. So obviously I want to make sure he's happy with what the business owner and I have created, and he was, which we kind of thought he would be. And we then looked at some of the other files and documents that he had compiled, pilfered, sourced, and built up in his own record base. So he has quite a comprehensive library, or it's certainly comprehensive from a small business point of view, library of workplace health and safety documents, and a few role descriptions and role description templates, and some onboarding, employee handbook type documents, which are all useful from the point of view of compliance and doing things properly, and onboarding and recruiting people properly. So we had a look at that. Interestingly, all of his documentation relating to the company was on his own laptop, which I've seen I don't know why people do it. I've seen plenty of times before, and none of it's on the company hard drive. So of course we had an action item set for this week to set up the company hard drive system in a logically structured format, so that we can put the right documents in the right places on that company hard drive. And the next steps will be to then filter through the documents. Some of them are very generic, and I am really not a fan of generic documentation, because everybody knows it's generic, and you put a generic document in front of anybody and they're not going to give it anywhere near the same sort of weight as a document that's clearly been created specific to the business that they're working in. And with some documents that's kind of okay, but you want to be selective about making sure that the ones that you want to matter should be customized for your own business. So that is a work in progress now. We also got to follow up on the embroidery order sheet, which we now supposedly have complete clarity on exactly what's required to finalise it. It's the tiniest of tweaks, and hopefully we will have that launched for trial within the next week or two. So we'll see how that progresses. But I, again, had the two key decision makers around the format of that, brought them together, made them talk to each other, and they now have an agreement on the format, which is good, because I just want to launch the thing. I'm sick of talking about it, and it's actually going to be really useful when they put it in place. Not only am I sick of talking about it, I'm sick of hearing complaints about how unstreamlined that little process is, whereas this document would actually be the solution to streamlining that. And then the other thing that was discussed today was this daily production sheet for the embroidery workwear production side of the business. And again, I found out what was complicating it, and it was a little it was a bit of perhaps demanding a little bit more information than would be required to give us the basic knowledge, the basic information that we need to make decisions around the productivity in that area, which is essentially what the production report should be. It's so that we can forecast work, schedule jobs, manage client expectations, manage our own productivity expectations, but also it's a part of the business that we're potentially looking at maybe putting strategies in place to deliberately grow it. But before we do that, we want a realistic understanding of the profitability of that side of the business, which is why this production report is so important, because we just don't have enough clarity around how profitable or efficient that side of the business currently is. So I kind of negotiated an agreement between the key parties to get us to a point where we could settle on a format that would give us the most relevant information with the least amount of hassle in collating and reporting that information. So we've got, I hope, we've got clarity on what that format's going to look like, but I do have an agreement that there's at least going to be an attempt to update that format. So when I meet with them next, I will be looking at that and seeing how they go. So quite a productive session today, getting back on top of a few things that I've been chasing. Great that they've hired a driver. This is, and you could feel the ease of pressure amongst the team just from this one simple hire. So hopefully this new person works out, and we'll see as we go forward. And as usual, I will update you in